Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media, in case you didn't know. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, coming to bring you that boom bap breakfast. Just us, not just me, holding the D. Let's get it. If you don't know, we got some dope hosts. Let me introduce you to one that you might know. She goes by the name of Erica Kane. They ain't know we was gonna stop right there.
We didn't either. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I'm digging this hoodie you got on. What is this saying? You know, you got to read it for me.
Versus the bourgeoisie.
Now, what is it? That's going to be the word of the day, proletarian.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go look that one up. So, I'm taking it through context that the less fortunate is the proletarian?
No. Oh my God. No.
Well, when I think of bourgeoisie, I think of rich people.
Workers versus the bosses. So workers, owning class, ruling class. We want a dictatorship of the proletariat.
So the broke against the rich.
Dictatorship of the bourgeoisie.
So the broke against the rich.
You know.
What's good, Ricky? How was your week?
Long. What's
Long.
today? Already.
Yeah. Already. It is. It's like the 8th of April, and I feel like we already through like a quarter of the year already.
Yeah.
Ooh, my goodness.
How many summers you got left, Ear Doctor?
Hey, listen, for me, I was out there playing ball yesterday, and I got at least, let's see, I'm 50 now. I think I'm gonna make it to like 85. I'm an 85%er. Peace to the gods and earth. I think I got a good 35 more years left. Okay. Yeah. If I keep doing what I'm doing, well, I gotta do better. I still got a little beer belly. I gotta chill on the beer. They say it's better to drink liquor, so I think I'll just stick with the tequila. Or maybe none of them.
What do you drink?
Huh?
What kind of tequila do you drink?
Well, I like I like Kevin Hart's tequila. It's pretty smooth. Other than that, I'm trying to find a black tequila brand, but you know, it ain't the easiest. Brother Jamil, I ain't no 85%. You know what it is, but I'm just joking with y'all. Yeah, what's your preferred drink?
I like margaritas.
Margaritas, a nice frozen drink with too much sugar.
No, I don't frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, on the rim, always. No salt.
You like them little sweet dainty drinks, huh?
Dainty drinks.
I mean, give it to me straight. I know who gives it to you straight. No other than Jackie Lukeman. Hey. I know you've been up for a while. How you been, Jackie?
Yeah, look, I am gonna give it to you straight. I just woke up, and I only woke up because a certain producer was like, called me, hey,
yeah, because
that's when I realized, oh, it's Wednesday.
Yes, the text didn't work. I was sitting there back here with Ricky. I was
Uh-uh.
like, maybe I should call her. Yeah,
I'm
you know.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was at a emergency it on demo last night. It was an emergency because
Mm.
I got the call that we need to be there literally yesterday. So
What do you
went
mean a
out,
Ron
did the
demo?
demo. Well, the local PSL chapter put on an emergency Iran demo, because of the threat last night of the
Hmm.
little tubby tantrum
Oh yeah.
um, thrower. So, and it was a really good demo, but it was really cool because we found out about the ceasefire. I know we're going to talk about that, but
Hmm.
we found out about the ceasefire as the demo was going on. So it was really something to be, talking to people and then, hearing about the ceasefire and then, being able to tell people, yes, the ceasefire, there is a ceasefire, but you know, remember who we're dealing with. So yeah, we can say Iran won, but the battle is not over for us because we don't trust these people, and neither do they. So
Mm. I mean, would you? I
yeah.
mean, Kanye West just dropped an album called Bully,
Oh
sold out.
Lord,
I know.
can we
I'm
can we
wondering why Trump need to take that title. But yeah, the name of his album is Bully, and he
Mm.
sold out 3 nights, lost sponsors, Pepsi and a bunch of sponsors, had Lauren Hill out there performing on a big stage and some other people. But like Trump is the real bully, ain't he? Didn't Trump somewhat get what he wanted? I don't know.
No, he didn't
No.
get what he
Mm-mm.
wanted.
No, he didn't get what he wanted.
See,
No.
for the
No, he didn't
okay,
get what he
I know we're gonna dig
Uh-uh.
into that a little bit more, but he ain't wiping out a whole civilization. Then the threat make something move.
The
It made
threat
him move.
the threat made him move because the
Ah,
threat the threat was like at when that man made that ridiculous threat, Iran was they were being restrained with with their attacks. Believe it or not, they were being very restrained. And
mm,
once he made that threat, they were like, you know what? No more restraint. No more restraint. And they mobilized their people. These people, I heard the press conference earlier in the day when I was getting ready. I was literally putting my clothes on, getting ready to go to this demo, and I was listening to because sometimes I use the reader feature on the computer to read articles while I'm doing something else.
hmm.
Um, and so the defense minister, no, the president, Pizeskian, said that um, oh, you want to wipe out infrastructure, and you're thinking of attacking our infrastructure and wiping out our civilization. Tell you what, um, all of the people of Iran form a human chain around our infrastructure to show these people how serious we are. There is no more restraint. And I thought that was just, no, they really did that. The people of Iran really formed a human chain around one of the main energy sites off of Karg Island now.
and
These
over
people,
every
huh?
they were on every bridge too, because you remember he said he was going to blow up the bridges,
Yes.
and
Oh
they
Yeah.
had
wow.
a long extended flag, and they were on every bridge.
Mm-hmm. What
They
what's the
said he was
population of
Bobby.
Tehran? Like what's the population of Tehran alone is what, 19 million people?
I
Something
think it's
like
10
that?
million in Sudan. Is it
Yeah.
19?
I
Hmm.
don't know. Now I know I'm conflating, but we're talking about Tehran, the capital city. Millions of and all of the cities surround. The president said form a human chain around our
Oh wow.
infrastructure. We are going to protect our country. And the people were like, bet. and they did it.
Mm.
And it was, I didn't even know they had done it until I came home last night after the demo pretty late, and checking up on the news, and I saw those, and I was like, good God, I'm sorry, nobody can defeat that.
So, Erica, you think they got love for the president, what he's saying, or love for the country more?
So I think even when we talk about this, I don't, even as Jackie framed it, they would have done it regardless if he made that statement. If you've seen images, they have been in a town square, they have been in the center of Tehran every single night as bombs are falling, as oil is raining down from the sky because infrastructure is being hit. So they've been in there, outside ingesting and inhaling, but much of this is in defense of their state. And so I think that is really what needs to be understood here, because I think really there's a way that people are continuing to play on these particular kind of nuances around no war in Iran, defend the Iranian people, and this kind of elusive Iranian people that becomes a category that cannot defend itself. And if you've seen the images of the way that they wrap themselves around bridges, these are people with will, these are people with might, right? So to even insist that they wouldn't even be able to develop themselves enough to organize against anything that they are not particularly happy with their government, I think just it just all kind of falls on the face of that particular kind of narrative. Regardless of what is occurring or how they feel about the leadership currently, there is no Iran. There is no leadership without, if the state falls. There is no Iran for Iranian people to even advocate for themselves in if the state falls. And so there's a level of clarity around that I think the Western left tries to project. Because I was at Bowie State University yesterday. I got a chance to be a guest lecturer, and so we did talk about the ways that there's a because we live in the metropole, because we live in the heart of empire, we only know how empire does things, right? And barely at that, but we only are familiar with the way that things are done here. So there is this insistence on one-to-ones and making everything comparable. And so even when they talk about like regimes or authoritarianism or dictatorship, right? They do it in such a way to make it comparable so that they can then justify any of these particular actions because, oh, look, they have an authoritarian regime. Look, just like I think you all played the clip yesterday of Trump saying, oh, you all don't even understand how bad it is in Iran. Don't you know those people can't protest without getting shot? Right? I'm like, okay, Minnesota. But to say, like, he only knows to speak in ways that people here would be able to understand. Like you're not able to protest, you're not able to do these things. So they kind of heighten these level of propaganda around Iran without really even having to investigate any part of that civil society.
To make it look like we saving them or something, right?
Yeah. Or not necessarily we, right? But that's the role of the U.S. government, the
police, the world police.
Yeah, the world police, which is why they have 800 plus military bases across the planet, right? They have carved the world into military bases because they do see themselves in that way. And I think what Iran has done is one, they have defined what sovereignty actually is. If you cannot defend sovereignty, you have no sovereignty. Period. And I think too, the other thing that Iran has done, I think has really put on the face, like, sure, I think we should be clear that this war has been going on essentially since 1979. This is one part of it. This is a battle that Iran has actually won, but I don't know that the war itself is over.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with a
Right.
battle of ideas. West
Mm-hmm.
Asia is still for grabs, right? Because they're still messing with Lebanon. Syria's still balkanized in a mess. The proxy, Arab states are still who they are. They haven't really shifted. So the conditions are still the conditions, but I do think what Iran has showed is, fuck around and find out. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
were able to create a ceasefire on their terms, which I think is under discussed that it is on their terms.
Without
Right.
even really busting a bunch of missiles, right?
They were
No, they
using
have.
all of the old stuff.
Yeah,
they,
it's doing stones and
they went to the back of the closet first. They were like, oh, we were wondering what we were going to do with all of this outdated stuff. Now we know.
yeah, slingshots. It was like, David, come on, let's get some more Goliaths. It's crazy.
Did you all see the clip of the man who actually shot down the plane with the
Yes.
What?
He is a old villager.
With a
Yeah.
musket? With a musket?
No, that's
It
no
might
musket. He got a rocket launcher, and his
What?
daughter,
Got a
niece,
Kalishnikov and a rocket launcher, baby.
What?
and his daughter.
Damn.
They interviewed the daughter too because she runs out and she says, "Do it for the girls." He
Oh, represented.
want them shot down.
And he was like, okay, baby.
Blah, blah. Wow.
Indeed,
Okay.
indeed. And so that even that, right, to show you like that level of clarity from youth to elder, they are clear that the U.S. and Israel are the enemy. Whatever
Yep.
kind of criticisms or issues that they have internally with their state is not the primary contradiction for them, and they're very from youth to elder, and I think that's something really important, that level of clarity.
And I seen them over there chanting death to Americans, and they made a distinction of what Americans, they wasn't talking about the people, they was talking about the
Right.
government in a ways.
Right.
Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah. So they weren't saying death to Americans.
Yeah.
They
Death
were
to
saying
America.
death to to America, and I agree. Now, I think it's also important about that older man who shot down. I just still think that is funny. The way the U.S. talks about Iranians, it's as if they're all, backward cave dwellers. And that's rich coming from, first of all, people.
Cave dwellers?
I see what you did there. That's brilliant. I loved it. That was brilliant. Thank you, because
No
pretty
problem.
much,
Yeah.
but the people who shot down the plane, they were like nomadic people. They weren't even living in the city. They came down from the mountains. The entire, not just that one family, all the people living in the mountains, they were like, okay, we fighting. We are fighting for our country. So that to me also showed the level of, like Erica said, the level of clarity. It doesn't, this level of clarity and understanding and love of country and love of culture and love of people, and love of humanity, really. Because, these folks could have basically said, well, okay, we're going to fight till the last whatever. But like I said, they did show a level of restraint that, quite honestly, this government doesn't deserve. But again, they love humanity. So when they say death to America, they're not going to bomb civilian infrastructure in this country. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do what this country has done to them. But the clarity of that, of who the enemy really is not just and like an urban intellectual kind of thing that people living out in the countryside or in the mountains who in this country may be disconnected from other people, and who have a lack of clarity about what the government we live under is, that urban rural divide kind of thing. That interview with that older man from the mountains among his people, coming down from the mountains and shooting down US aircraft, that to me was a really good indication that there is a unity of purpose in Iran that we don't understand here. And it isn't even diluted by like an urban rural divide the way some things are diluted here in this country. I just thought it was very interesting that, this man from what people would think would be isolated and backwards groups of people, even in Iran, they're not. That is just their culture, living in the mountains and that kind of thing. But they are Iranian. And they're clear on who their enemies are, no matter where they are in Iran. I thought that was just really fascinating.
Yeah, dope. All right, well, let's go ahead and take our first break so I can refill the coffee in my cup. And then I know, Jackie. I appreciate you. I know how it is.
Play the music.
We're gonna come right back right after this very quick break, and with some more news right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. Let's get it. What's good, everybody? Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Thank y'all for tuning in, and thank y'all for hitting that like button and subscribing if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and donate where at blkliberationmedia.org. Yes, go there and catch you some dope gear, merch, and all that. And that way, that keeps us over here rocking out with y'all. All right, with that said, listen, man, it's been a lot of things going on, but let me put you on to what just happened recently. We just lost another hip-hop pioneer, and she goes by the name of Blondie. Yes, from the group, The Sequence. Yes, and you hear the song right there, Funk You Right On Up. We lost B&GB a while back, but yes, we just lost Blondie. We don't know exactly how she passed just yet, but thank you for your contribution. As you know, if you don't know, they were one of the first female rap groups to sign a major contract, which was with Sugar Hill Records, and they came out in 1979. And yeah, they blew the doors open, wrote for some other people on the record label, dropped 2 albums. The second one came out in 1983, and they have reported to sold over 1 million records worldwide, making them the first female hip hop group to sell over 1 million records. So big up to Blondie and the rest of her family. Blessings, and yeah. Let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
I'm gonna funk you up, boy. Right on up, we're gonna funk you. Right on up. I'm gonna funk you up, boy. Right on up, right on up, right on up, right on up.
Yeah. Girl, I ain't finished getting her coffee yet. I ain't even mad. But while we here, big sure y'all come. What is it? We'll be celebrating 5 years of this channel. So make sure y'all tune in. It'll be our 5th anniversary next. Let me get all this stuff off the screen first. It'll be our 5th anniversary for here, Black Liberation Media. Next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Me and Dr. Jared Ball are going to host a celebration. We're going to have a bunch of different hosts come through, different people come in and show they love. So make sure y'all tune in for that. And yeah, rock out with us. All right, let me get this off the screen. And there's the crew back to it. So make sure y'all tune in for that. I got to put that up so we can rock out on that. Yo, real quick before I go, sometimes we say certain things like it's a funny joke, but some people actually do it.
Okay, what happened?
A bus driver has been arrested and charged with strangling a child on board of her bus.
What the hell? What?
You know how somebody be like, I'm gonna strangle them damn kids. She did. She needs to relax.
Yeah, no. Now, no.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's some real shit there. You say, I'm gonna strangle them damn kids if they don't sit down.
This is actually funny because my dad is a retired bus driver.
Oh wow.
And that poor man.
I couldn't imagine that. Throwing stuff at the bus driver, like, shut up and drive.
No, they won't go do that to my daddy.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Oh, no. Listen, to this day, that everybody, these grown ass kids, they see him to this day. Hey, Minister Malone. Hey, Minister.
Oh, he was a minister? Oh,
yeah, my dad's an elder in the Church of God in Christ. He's very holy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he would, the stories. And I went with him a couple of times when I was home visiting him, when he would, because he drove the activity bus too for the sports teams. And man, when the football team they'd win and they'd celebrate and it was too much celebration for him. And then they in the bus being kids celebrating, jumping up and down and whatnot. Yeah. He's driving the bus, and Highway 58 is dark and a little bit treacherous, but man, he'd be like, now look, now y'all sit the hell down. Y'all ain't got to do all that celebrating. Y'all can wait to celebrate when you get back to the locker room. Y'all need to sit down on this bus, and it's dark out.
Yeah.
Big ass boys would be like, yes, sir, Minister Malone.
So big up to that sister. I mean, I don't even know if I should big her up, but anyway,
she should be beaten by them parents.
Anyway.
No, she should be beaten by the parents.
I guess.
No, she should be beaten up by the parents, because you don't put your hands on anybody else's children. No.
Could have been
no. I mean,
who said support?
No. That was funny though, because that was just, my dad and his stories on that bus. I'm just like, Dad, they're kids. They're gonna do kid stuff. No, they ain't got to be making all that noise. And that's when he knew, I think it's time for me to retire.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I think we all had our bird phase when we were younger. I sure did, but. And so that includes talking loud for no reason in public places, like the train, like the bus, daring somebody to say something to you. They're like, you wait, what? Huh? Excuse me, what you said? Huh? But now, like I remember when I used to work on Randall's Island, and you got to take, the 2 or the 5 to 125th, and that after school crowd. School crowd. I used to be like, hey, what like this? Somebody touch the kids. They need prayer. They're haunted.
Yeah.
But they're so loud, and and it's so many of them. They travel.
Yeah. I don't know that
But I always try to think about, no, but you was that loud. You was like 12 deep screaming just.
Yeah. I do have to remind myself. That was, I was a little bit unruly too. And then, I was a punk, so I was like professionally unruly, I guess. So, yeah.
No, they just loud. They just unnecessarily loud. But also, I feel like
step across the line. Habitually, he's a habitual line stepper.
Oh, that's every youth. Every youth for a while, they are habitual line steppers.
Oh, really, they are.
But
I mean,
yeah.
mine tussling here every day. You know, every day. But but I do think, like, you're in school what, 6-8 hours depending on your grade, right? The seniors get to sometimes leave early. You're in school 6 to 8 hours under those restrictions. Walk in this line, stay over here, don't do that. Here's your pass. Can't talk. Raise your hand. So the time they break out, they scream at the top of their lungs just to scream. Just you had to suppress it for hours. So sometimes, I try to remember that, but also it's like it's a lot with the kids. But yeah, it's. But I do think we do get to a point in an age where we're like, what's wrong with the children? As if we weren't children. Because my friend did that. My best friend did that the other day. And I'm like, girl, if they had the internet the way that they had it now, we just had Black Planet.
Pretty much.
MySpace wasn't even popping yet. So, and we was doing a lot with that. So, just keep in mind.
Wild. And that's wild because when all that happened, I was the internet and AOL and the chat rooms and Black Planet and MySpace and I was an adult when all of that proliferated. So I missed, like, when I realized MySpace was full of like teenagers, I was like, nope.
Oh, and the chat lines. You remember the phone calls, y'all? Y'all can call people. And we used to call people a three-way and be mad quiet so you can hear what they have to say.
Yeah. Who listening? I know somebody else on here who listening.
We've been doing a lot. I remember them chat lines though. We used to call people out.
It's.
And you know what's wild? Now, like, I can say all that, but for my son, I'm like, what are you watching? What's that? What they said? That's not appropriate. Like, I'm on top of it. But for me, I was kind of running wild a little bit.
Yeah. I did forget that I was a late bloomer with my rebellion, but yep, I wilded out a little bit too. So, I don't do a whole lot of criticizing anymore. When it's a bunch of kids on the train car, I just move to another I just do. And I'm not gonna be like, y'all, be quiet. Come on, don't, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, yeah, Metro wasn't around when I was in high school, but we was definitely on them buses acting a whole fool. I mean, and running along the streets in packs of kids, giving the crossing guards the blues and whatnot. I just, sir, this is news. You are the one who started it with that piece of news.
I was going to say it is news, because just the other day, last week, I think twice it happened, in the Navy Yard, with the youth. And so youth are gathering in large quantities, and there's like over policing happening. It also happened last week this Saturday, in fact, in Baltimore, 3 weeks ago, around King's Plaza, not King's Plaza, I think Atlantic Mall, in Brooklyn. Over 100 kids. So there is, I guess, at least I think there's an uptick in the news reporting this, right? Because I think we've seen this previously where they were like, the youth crime is out of control with the carjackings and all of those things a couple summers ago. And so now they're bringing that kind of reporting back around these large gatherings of groups of kids. Now, what they're doing, whether or not they're up to something, it doesn't make a difference, because the fact that they're gathering in large quantities is an issue for the state. And so what they do is they bum rush the kids, which causes chaos. They run into these spaces. Now, you have 100 to 200 kids, and they're all, grouped together, and they're loud. So they're kids. Nothing's actually occurring. They're just 200 loud children. And they're bum rushing into a crowd, and the kids are dispersing. And as they're running, that's when they're catching them, they're beating on them, they're locking them up for truancy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're seeing that happen from state to state to state, like major city to major city. And I think fundamentally the issue is, where are the kids supposed to go?
Right.
Where are the kids supposed to go? There's no youth sort of like focus on where's the after school programs. They want to put up bike parks, they want to put up skate parks and all these kind of non-profit kind of things in lieu of having stripped everything. There's no community centers. I mean, the YMCA is a Boys and Girls Club are so tight knit with the police, but there's no outlet. There's no community sporting like there used to be, like neighborhood teams and things like that. You see that more so out here in the county than you would in a major city. And so these are the things that we're fighting for with these kids, not to mention the amount of school closings, where the distance children now have to travel to get to and from school is much longer, especially if you live in Baltimore City. You're leaving at the top, like 4 a.m, you got to leave out to be at school on time for 7:30.
Good grief. Because
they changed the bus routes, and most of these schools are closing. Right. And so so imagine you're coming out of school, you got a 3-hour commute to get back home. You ain't rushing home. And so these are the conditions that our children are kind of captured in. And we talked a bit about this in Baltimore on Saturday. Milan, shout out to Milan and Jacob, PSL Baltimore. They held, they're both educators in the city. And so they held a teach-in to talk about like militarization of youth, but really to have the conversation about like what is actually being provided for the youth. Like we can talk about what the youth needs, but also like how they're being supported, etc. And one of the people in the audience, one of the community attendees, she had said, speaking as someone who works with children, that she just wishes that children had the space to just be kids, that they didn't have to struggle, didn't have to fight, because they don't deserve to be in the put in these kind of conditions. And I thought to myself, well, what makes the youth different from us? Do we deserve to be struggling and fighting? And so, like, what is our role in supporting the youth to understand their positionality in this struggle? Right? Like, when we look at the encampment, so we talked about youth being the tip of the spear. How are we emboldening them to understand that? Because a spear is a rod too, right? So even when the youth punctures it, how are we following up? What is our role in supporting them doing that, as opposed to telling them that they don't have a stake in this, that they don't need to fight. They need to be fighting as much as we're like, this is all of us or none of us. And so I did some of the narratives around how we discuss children as like, other entity or this separate force that's not connected to the struggle. They're just, they just get to feel it, or they get the brunt of the struggle, but they don't get to participate in it. And so even thinking about how do we bring them into participating in the struggle, and what does that mean to advocate them to embolden them to advocate for themselves? Do they know how? Because everybody always talks about, kids know what they want. Sometimes they don't, because they've never been in a position where they're allowed to ask for what they want. So they wouldn't even begin to know. They wouldn't even begin to know. So then what is our role in kind of helping them craft? How do you ask for what you need? How do you fight for what you need?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, excuse me, we say things a lot of times, we adults, that kids see that we actually don't mean. Because when we say that, kids are just, little humans, we don't treat kids like little humans. We don't treat the youth like they have functioning brains. Yes, I know their brains are not fully developed, but they are developed enough that if you engage them, they can tell you what they need and what they want. But we don't talk to kids. We we are always talking about we know what is best for, we say we know what's best for kids, but what we really do is project what we want. And what we really do is containment of children. That's why people are not just like, well, this is wrong what they're doing to the kids, because a lot of us, we're afraid of our own kids. We believe some of this, some of us believe this narrative about, these kids are, this generation is running wild. There's always that generational slide into, oh, now we got to play the game of, goes right back to what we were talking about before. We forgot that we were kids too. And now, that we're adults, we look at youthful behavior as a nuisance instead of just, a part of becoming a mature human, because that's how we were all kind of like that at some point. Um, and I think we do it because we have also grown up in the same conditions, and we adjust instead of maintaining the the frustration that we had when we were kids, when all of these programs and outlets and things were taken away, because they were during the crack era. We lived through that. We know what we asked for during that siege. We asked for these programs to be in these institutions, to expand the recreation centers, the boys and girls clubs, the after school programs, to put the humanities back in public schools, to put the band and the music and drama, all that stuff was taken away. We were the generation who lived through that.
Mhm.
So for the same folks who live, particularly in this city and in every city impacted, particularly by the crack era, we all experienced that. The defunding of our communities and giving all that money to the police and to fuel our mass incarceration. It's like we forgot that was done to us. So instead of continuing to fight for those programs that we fought for our young selves during that period of time, understanding that they were beneficial and important to our communities, to the development of our youth, instead of fighting for those things, because that is still true. Those programs do develop, those things do develop young people into functioning social, able to interact with others and work out their problems, in a constructive way. Yeah, those things are beneficial, but now we've forgotten that those things are beneficial to youth development. Now
Mhm.
it's all about youth containment.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks in our generation support the over policing, the curfews. They support that. And it is frustrating, but that's the reality that we have, I think, grown up in. And I think that is also a result of be growing up in that environment where we didn't have a say in what was done to our communities, even though we tried really, really hard to get what we knew was good for us. But instead of people continuing to fight, they just kind of said, all right, the system won. I'll just take what they do.
Yeah. And I'm not making the argument that the youth don't have ideas.
Right.
I think
Hmm.
it's not dissimilar to the amount of ideas adults have, right? We are not without a lack of ideas. Generally, everybody has an idea, right? But it is, how do we support them in actually honing in on what they need?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is having had discussions, being in programs, developing programs around youth, they struggle with that because no one has really, people do not ask, what is it that you want? And so when they do get that question, they struggle with even really concretely saying, you know what, I actually really want this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a shock that somebody is even asking them to participate in the discussion, to engage with them in this. So at
Yeah.
that point, it's like, oh, wait, hold on now.
Right.
What do I want?
It's like somebody paid attention to me. Oh,
I hadn't thought about that, really.
right.
And so, and I think that that's the difference between, having ideas about what we want to do versus what we need and what we need to see happen. And so, how do we get them to be clear about what they want and what they want to see happen and support them in critically thinking it through?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that that's a different kind of question in terms of how are we engaging them. Because
Yes.
like I said, I think we are not without without an abundance of ideas. Everybody got an idea.
Yeah, it's like we're talking.
Ideas can be moved, right? And so, like, how do we help them understand that? That in some instances they're not being shut down, because I do think they believe that too. That all ideas can't be moved, but that doesn't mean you're being shut down, right? Or dismissed, because they're used to that as well. So how are we developing that kind of muscle where they can struggle with people and not see it as a conflict or not see somebody as innately against them? And that there's a level of social skills that is lack with these kids, because they be sitting already. They be sitting already waiting, like, excuse me, what was that, what you said?
Yeah, I mean, and then we talk at the kids, not even to them.
Right. So how
Yeah.
do we get them to understand that people are going to disagree and some people are not going to move with your idea, but it doesn't mean that people think any less of you or how you
Right.
think. But what are you bringing to develop some of these thoughts and ideas collectively, as opposed to, like, let's move this thing I want to do?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, the dopest part of my after school program was when I did podcasting with kids. That was the only time they were able to express what they thought, because they were getting talked to all day by teachers, and they don't get as soon as they try to talk, no talking. And it's like, finally, after school, they get time to talk. I just asked them just regular questions, and they would be so excited to talk about it. But even with my kids being on spring break right now, we just sitting around talking, and my daughter's straight A's, magnet program, got colleges sending all types of stuff, trying to recruit her. And she's like, man, I could go to college, but I might not even get a job. Who was guaranteed with me getting a job? So I think they're traumatized by the whole COVID thing that went down. They're traumatized by this president that's in office. And they're just trying to figure out, what is the future even looking like? I mean, am I going to be staying home? Am I going to be working from home? I was at the store the other day, and I was like, yo, go ask the lady where to find something. And they're like, I might communicate. Because they don't like to talk to each other. The social skills are terrible. And it's like certain things you got to really sit down with them and be like, go over, because they don't know. So.
Yeah, true. It's, I feel for y'all. Again, I don't have kids. I don't know what it's like to raise kids. I don't, especially in this. I can, as you can see, I can barely keep myself straight. So me having a child, I don't know how that would. Ooh, man. I worry, I think, as much for the parents as for the children, especially when I see, parents like you all who are fantastic parents, and you're raising your kids in this entirely fucked up society. And your kids know this place is messed up. Like what you just said, that your daughter already understands that this system it's not what they claim it is. And as a parent, I do wonder how you manage your emotions, seeing your children come to the realization of what you already know about this place? And how do you manage to not bring your like bitterness and frustration at this place and the realization that this is what your kids are going to have to deal with? How do you manage that while you're trying to encourage them to not be, overwhelmed and already like defeated by this? That, to me, that is I don't know how y'all do that, but I take my hat off to you, because good grief, that's got to be incredibly hard.
I don't know, Erica, are you doing it? I mean, because truthfully, it's just like I turn the radio off, turn everything off, TV off, and we just sit in the car and have conversations, going places about the world. But it's a lack of inspiration. They're not really inspired. Like, what is the future? It's looking crazy right now. We in war right now. It could be World War III. They're like, what the hell am I even doing all this for? So I don't know. Ugh.
Well, you all know that Stein has been kind of molded through this. He's what is 9 years of BAP. So I started when Zion was 3. So he's kind of grown up and protests and things like that. So it hasn't been much for me to kind of explain. I do though think it's interesting. We went to the Natural Museum, Natural History Museum, and we were in the gemstone area, and he's seen Harry Winston, and like they were talking about how they got the Hope Diamond from India, and he's looking at the Hope Diamond and he's like, I just feel so bad for Harriet Tubman. I just can't stop thinking about the slaves.
Oh, wow.
Somehow he's like, the Indian servitude that created the Hope Diamond reminds me of Harriet Tubman.
Wow, that's some parenting right there, man.
Yeah.
That is some parenting. Woo!
My daughter calls white people colonizers, like straight off the rip. I mean, and then what's the options? It's like the options that the state is trying to give you is you either go to jail, you go to college and wind up being in debt, a servant of the state by being in debt, or you go to what's another option they got? Jail, go to college, be in debt, and just be a worker. That's why all the kids want to be all the kids want to be podcasters, athletes, or entertainers. They're like, listen, I'll just go that
just
route.
Be a worker like that. What's wrong with workers?
No, because what I'm saying, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you just gonna be working to help the country be better. Like, let's keep making money for this capitalist country, and that's just what it is. It's like,
yeah, but I think that's part of the argument about like how are we bringing them into the conversation. Like, if we're having conversations about capitalism and we're having conversations about workers and the role of workers, where are the youth in those conversations? Because that's why I have issues like it's the kind of siloed organizing. It's like, okay, we got women's rights over here, we got the youth over here, over here, right? And so when we're all impacted by a thing, we have a myriad of separate conversations going on that don't really hone in that we're all impacted by a thing. How do we help children understand that one, ain't shit wrong with being a worker? We are like generations deep with people who have no affiliation with the word. Because in their mind, it's like, worker, I don't want to be no worker, I want to be the boss, right? And
right.
I mean, that's just what it is. Being a worker has been so demonized, and probably intentionally, right? Because the strength of unions and the strength of workers made shit move in this country. And so like the way that people talk about workers, like how are we helping the children connect that's not an innately bad thing, but then also how do we advocate for workers? Like, what is our role in pushing workers' rights or, moving towards liberation, and like bringing them into that conversation about, what would a future look like for you? Because we're all trying to find out what our future is going to look like. And that's why I kind of like push back a bit on kids deserve to have a life of joy. Shit, nigga, I don't.
Right.
I'm supposed to be toiling for regular shit. I can't have no fun either. Right. And so that's what it's like. But what is the role for us to be thinking about it like communally? We all deserve to be living our best lives. We all deserve whole lives as humans, right? Not just the children, but I know as adults, we're forging the fight so that it's less of a fight for them. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be fighting. That's the kind of connection that we need to be making.
All right. Be a proletarian. Okay. Ricky, you still got to leave?
I do.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we got some more for y'all. We got another host coming through with the most. So I see we even got something else coming through. So
because he had to, because you know how he is, and I can't say no.
I'm sure he's probably messaging me. You know, I'll be on Do Not Disturb.
Word. So let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and rock out with y'all right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's get it.
Nice.
Time for a remix on the remix.
He's got that magic. The way he touches me is so spiritual. He's so everything. He's a miracle. I've been searching all my life for someone like him. And all this time I thought that he was just a friend. But not just anybody can touch my body. And then he came along and showed me pleasure like I never known. He's got that magic.
All right. Welcome out. Remix on the remix. This right here is the sister that goes by the name of India Irie. The name of that song is That Magic. This came out on that album called Worthy in the year of 2019. Yes. Ear Doctor on the beat. All right. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and donate where? At blkliberationmedia.org. Yes. All right. With that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Come on. And make sure y'all tune in Thursday, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. It's me and Kim Brown do the breakdown, classical breakdown, that is, Luther Vandross at 11 a.m. All right. See y'all then. Let's get it. Oh, my big brother in the building. You see, we both got the same mold right here and everything. I'm telling y'all, that is my big brother. Y'all fronting. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Good to see all y'all. We got Renee Johnston in the building too. What up, Renee?
What's up? All right. Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Smooth transition. I'll let y'all get to it. Peace.
All right. Yes. Let's go ahead. Yes. Toss the satellite, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I know. We're way late. Hey, welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. Thank you so much for sticking around with us today. It is Wednesday, April 8th, and I am Jackie Lukman. I'm joined by Renee Johnston, and we are joined by Ajamu Baraka because this new segment is very, very important. Because guess what's happened? Yes, as we have alluded to a little bit earlier, I'm going to share this article with you quickly. Not going to read everything because I'm going to give you the link. Yes, there is a ceasefire. Iran secures, this is being reported by Al Mayadeen. Iran secures 2-week ceasefire with U.S. on its terms to include Lebanon. I didn't realize this last night. So Iran-U.S. ceasefire reached under regional mediation. Israel suspends attacks, and key Iranian security and economic demands are highlighted. Under the agreement, Iran's armed forces have agreed to suspend defensive operations if the U.S. and Israel, I love how they put Israel in quotation marks because it's not real, Israel halt their attacks while safe passage through the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz will be permitted for the 2 weeks under coordination with Iran's military and technical restrictions. Let's see. Let me go down really quick to Iran's terms. So you understand that the U.S., Trump didn't get this on his terms. Iran's terms are commitment to non-aggression, continuation of Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, recognition of Iran's right to uranium enrichment, lifting all primary and secondary sanctions, termination of all United Nations Security Council resolutions, termination of all Board of Governors resolutions, paid compensation for Iran, withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region, which they've already kind of facilitated a little bit, ending the war on all fronts, including Lebanon. So I'm going to drop the link to this article in the chat for you so you can read through it yourself. But Ajam, I know you've got a little bit of time.
Before you started, Jamu, though, I just want to make sure everybody knows that Israel came out to say that this is nonsense and Lebanon is not included in the ceasefire and they're still trading bombs with Hezbollah. So yeah. But I'm going to let yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said ceasefire. It is interesting at the demonstration last night. I'm talking and I'm announcing, yes, the ceasefire has been reached. But listen, we know these people. That Iran won this round, but this war is not over. And somebody in the crowd, interestingly enough, this does happen sometimes. Somebody in the crowd was like, "What you mean? It's not over? They got a ceasefire." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Well, yeah, there was supposed to be a ceasefire in Gaza too, right?" So, and by the way, like I said, we know these people. We don't trust them, and Iran doesn't trust them. So neither should you. So, with that, Ajamu, what's going on here?
First, thank you so much for allowing me to share for a few minutes, and good seeing Renee again. Renee was on the side spanking me for some stuff that I failed to do, and so I took it like a man. But we're gonna do better, my sister. So please let's go ahead and follow up. And she's absolutely correct, and I think people have to put this whole thing in some perspective. Is a very significant development. There's no question about that. But we have to understand how precarious the situation really is. First, then we'll talk about the substance in a second. As Renee said, the Israelis have said basically they don't recognize the validity of this agreement, and that they're going to continue. In fact, they did continue with the assault in southern Lebanon, even though we have reports that they are basically being chewed up on the ground in southern Lebanon. But they still have, of course, overwhelming air power and still able to inflict significant harm on the Lebanese people and the resistance forces there in South Lebanon. So there's a very real possibility that as early as today, we're going to see a response from Iran in terms of what all this means, because they are quite explicit, as you just read, that this ceasefire is supposed to cover also Hezbollah and, well, they didn't name it, and that's the way we all know that means southern Lebanon. So, we know that Israel will attempt to pretend they have a veto power, but we know what that really means. That is the kind of games being played by the U.S. This announcement last night, it served two purposes. One, it allowed the Trump administration to avoid this sort of catastrophic genocidal announcement that it made to basically end to basically embark on another genocide of the people of Iran, which meant the only way that that was going to happen was they were going to use weapons of mass destruction. And secondly, it allowed for at least a temporary or a partial ceasefire to occur so that forces can be regrouped and they can prepare themselves for the next phase. And so it's important that people understand that these items you just read, Sister Jackie, still have to be negotiated. And that the things that they have agreed on at this point is no more than a continuation of essentially the status quo over the last 40 days. Like, for example, the continued control of the Straits of Hormuz. They already control it.
Right.
And they're going to continue to control it. And they're going to continue to exact tolls from the passage of ships through the strait. The only thing that will be different, at least for a couple of weeks, if it holds, is that the liquefied natural gas from Qatar and the petroleum products from the other Gulf states will be allowed to traverse the straits. But there's no guarantee that that would happen unless there's a clarification on this issue of southern Lebanon. So some people say this is a monumental strategic defeat for the U.S. I say not yet. I think it's clearly a tactical setback, but their strategic objective, that is the U.S., is basically to undermine and to eliminate, if you will, the Islamic Republic. That's what they would like to do. That was the main objective of the war. Had nothing to do with containing Iran's nuclear program, because there was no nuclear program. This was about hegemony in the region. And to their detriment, what is going to happen, no matter whether or not this ceasefire holds, what will result is that the U.S. and Israel will be much weaker in West Asia, or what some people refer to as the so-called Middle East.
So what do you think it signals for Iran's standing, I guess, in the world? Because I think, Ajamu, some people are thinking that Iran is not clear on who they're dealing with, and they think that that when the U.S. eventually, probably almost inevitably, scuttles the negotiations, because that's what they do, then it will be a reflection of, Iran got played, or like, do you think Iran is going into these negotiations with some type of a naive hope that this is over, or are we underestimating Iran?
Well, I think that the leadership that had those characteristics you just referred to, Jackie, sort of a naivety regarding the character of their adversaries. Those individuals are no longer with us. They have been, in effect, eliminated. So you have what I refer to as the young lions, the younger people in the Iranian system that probably would not have been able to assume power for another 10, 15 years because of the decapitation strategy of Israel and the U.S. They've been forced to step up, and they're absolutely clear about who they are dealing with, the nature of their adversary. In fact, you can see that in the elevation of their propaganda, which is, there's a certain kind of facility with propaganda in that part of the world that was always very interesting. Iran was a little bit behind with that, but they are definitely catching up and exceeding expectation in terms of being able to tell their story and to undermine the credibility and the prestige of their opposition. So this is a new leadership. They understand and they're prepared to in essence go all the way. They understand that what they are facing now is an existential threat, and as a consequence of having that kind of focused attention on what their objectives will be, which is more than just survival, but pushing the U.S. finally physically out of West Asia and being prepared to make the ultimate sacrifices in order to do that, there is a whole different ball game right now. And so, no, this is a new era, and this is if there's anyone that was somewhat naive, it was in fact the U.S. forces. They thought that through bluster and belligerence that they were going to intimidate the Iranians into compromise. And people were trying to tell them, even in their circles, that that wasn't going to happen. But they had to learn the hard way. When Trump issued his declaration around his commitment to commit genocide, thinking that that was going to be the tool that they can use, it didn't work. And as a consequence of them now having to, even if this ceasefire is temporary, the very fact that they were forced to accept the framework of those 10 points really is a defeat for the U.S. And a irreversible defeat of their international prestige.
Mm-hmm. And people are also bringing up the issue of Gaza, of Palestine, that Gaza is not among the demands in these 10 points for this ceasefire negotiation. I don't read it certainly as Iran abandoning Gaza. We understand that I think initially Israel was not a party to this ceasefire. But even if they were, we knew that Israel was going to say, "Yeah, this is that we're not doing this." What do you make of Gaza and Palestine not being mentioned in these ceasefire parameters? Is it significant? What do you think it means?
I don't think is we should read more into that than what's really there. They understood that that was going to be an even heavier lift to include. They also understood too that theoretically there's supposed to be a ceasefire, even though we know the ceasefire is basically on one side, that is the side of the resistance in Gaza. But with the repositioning of the reconfiguration of power in West Asia, the so-called Middle East, this issue in Gaza will be resolved. Everybody knows that this so-called border peace is an illusion. It has it can't go anyplace. And so the issue in Gaza will be addressed. But it's important for us to just remember how significant this really is. Again, even if it doesn't hold for a while, that the very fact that the U.S. empire was put on the back foot, that it is now has now created a situation in West Asia where even the vassal states, U.S. vassal states, are now questioning the degree to which they can continue their relationship with the U.S. when it became quite clear that the U.S. was unable and unwilling to provide protection for it as it moved defensive missiles from some of those vassal states to Israel to shore up Israel's defense. Became quite clear who the U.S. really cared about. So this is causing a rethinking of the entire regional security architecture. And the result is going to be the U.S. is not going to be able to return to that area. The bases are now targets, are seen as targets, and basically it's all over for the U.S. This is monumentally significant. This is historically significant. What we have to start doing, though, in the West is to talk about and think about and plan out what does this mean for us politically within the U.S.
So,
I'm sorry, can I ask a quick
no,
question?
yeah, go ahead.
So I'm curious, and this is my foil hat going. So I don't know if folks are aware of the massive explosion that happened under the Panama Canal Bridge yesterday in the chat. And I found it curious, the timing of that with all the conversations of blowing up bridges and such. And I'm wondering, what are the chances that these things are, because obviously the news here is not going to talk about the fact that a gas tanker was exploded underneath a bridge, the Bridge of the Americas, by the way, over the Panama Canal. So I'm just curious if, with my tinfoil hat going, since I have you here, if there's any plausibility to the chance that we got some warning shots going, and that this could have played any role at all in the capitulation that happened. I also, by the way, predicted this yesterday morning. I was like, by 7 o'clock, there's going to be a ceasefire, because this is I was like, I got my popcorn waiting. I'm ready to go. So I texted my mother last night. I was like, I'm a soothsayer. I saw it coming. But I'm just curious if, is there any possibility that there's just more stuff happening? I mean, there's always possibility of that, but that there's more things happening that would have impact on how these decisions are getting made because of these things that are seemingly random, but I always wonder if they're actually random.
Well, Renee, that remains to be seen. There's something, and I think we always have to be critical and wonder about these kinds of events and look at what they could be in terms of connecting the dots in that way. You asked the question, strategically, would that be a harm to the U.S. if some way the Panama Canal was, in fact, put out of business for a while? And of course, it would be. Whether or not that was the intent of that attack remains to be seen. It would be a very significant thing if there was a signal that said that, there are forces there that know how to undermine the U.S.'s strategic interest when it comes to international trade. So, but we keep the focus right now, though, on trying to understand what this might mean for us in North America and in the Americas in general. And it is important for us to shift our thinking, because with the U.S. being pushed out of, this is our prediction, with the U.S. being pushed out of West Asia, it only enhances their intent to try to strengthen themselves in the Americas, because they have to consolidate their base someplace. And we know that they are in the process now of recolonizing the Americas, which means that that's why they have been taking these very, very aggressive stance vis-a-vis Cuba, Venezuela. They are intensifying militarization in northern Ecuador and southern Colombia. They are strengthening themselves by militarizing the entire Pacific coast all the way down to Chile. So they are intent on having to consolidate themselves because of their global setbacks. So it means we have some significant work to do in terms of continuing with the organizational consolidation and relationships that we're trying to effect in our region through our Zone of Peace campaign, for example, and what it means in terms of the battle within Congress around securing the resources they need in order to pursue their imperialist policies. They need more resources. That's why they have floated this notion of a $500 billion expansion of the U.S. military budget. And what that means then, if that was to occur, no one should be confused about the stance of the Democrats opposing something like that. because the Democrats are in alignment with the longer term strategic objectives of the colonial capitalist bourgeoisie. No question about that. And so money will be released if there's not a significant mass opposition to this. So it's thievery. And it means that significant and important programs that address the objective human rights needs of the people will be cut, undermined, in order to fund the capacity of the bourgeoisie to engage in international war, trying to uphold their international interests. So, no matter what happens in West Asia, the continuation of the war we must wage to prevent the full consolidation of global fascism and how it manifests itself in and will manifest and is manifesting itself within North America, that fight continues. And we've got to intensify our efforts because it will allow them to consolidate. And basically, we are all facing our own existential threat.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Ajamu. I'm hoping that we can now say, because you know how we always say that Iran or the U.S. has 800 plus military bases around the world. Can we now say that because of Iran, the U.S. has 788 plus military bases around the world?
We're moving in that direction. That's a good thing because those bases there in the Gulf and the Persian Gulf, they are now under threat. They're not going to be allowed to be rebuilt. And even those artificial nations, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, they are facing their own existential threat. In fact, the resolution of that would be their disappearance at this point, and Kuwait. So yes, but soon we can make those claims. But soon we have to also understand that the real battle is going to take place in the Americas and in East Asia also.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, comrade. Man, these are times. These are some times.
Exciting times, they really are. I'm glad I'm still here.
We're glad you're still here too.
So am I. So am I. And I think I just want to point out for the record that everybody should understand that no one is free from my email harassment. So see, even Ajamu.
I found that out. Thomas, one last quick thing though, in terms of us understanding the multiple fronts we have to engage in. Please join us and support this battle, this ideological and political battle we're waging through the North-South Project to make the FIFA move these games. Part of the normalization of genocide is them trying to allow the U.S., this rogue state, to host the World Cup. We say no World Cup, no Olympics, move the games. Please join us in that support. And if they bring the games here in the 11 cities where they're going to try to host them, we need to organize a nice little reception for them.
Agreed. And that is actually something that Iran now is also declaring, because just a day or two ago, Iran demanded that FIFA move all of the games that Iran is supposed to participate in out of the United States and into Mexico. Iran's participation in the 2026 FIFA World Cup remains uncertain and now hinges on whether FIFA agrees to move its matches out of the United States and into Mexico amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. So Iran is, I'm not sure if they're intentionally taking up the call from the North-South Project, or they've made the connections that we've already made, and they're making it clear for us. So this idea of the World Cup and FIFA and these international sports entities continuing to host their games in a genocidal, international law violating, human rights violating, settler colonial hellhole like the United States, we weren't kidding. we weren't kidding, and Iran has absolutely confirmed, yeah, they don't belong here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and let's look. There's a certain objective logic to their position, and we hope that everybody understands that, including the U.S. intelligence agencies, that we work independently in raising the human rights issues, and we say no to normalizing genocide. That's our objective position, and we're prepared to defend that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, comrade. We appreciate you hopping on. We know you got to go somewhere. I know somebody else is like, where is he? So go.
I got one more minute. Okay. All right. All right, comrade. Thank you so much. Okay, now.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, I am definitely glad that the elders that we have around us are still here, because I don't know how I would be managing this if I were not in BAP. I honestly don't know. I honestly can see myself needing extra anxiety medication going through this. I probably would have spent all my money at Costco and everywhere else, stocking up and hiding out in the basement. But the kind of wisdom that comes from that, and not every elder has it. I'm clear on that. But the kind of wisdom that comes from the long experience in revolutionary organizing is so critical for these moments when the state flexes its muscle, and we've never lived through anything like this. So to kind of get grounding and I don't know, temperance, I guess, from folks who have lived through something similar, but not even something like that, really, really, really helpful. And it's in these moments that I clearly understand the power and the utility and the necessity of being in an organization. Because
it helps your sanity too, because sometimes stuff be happening, and the first place I go to is the town square chat, because I'm like, is it me?
Yes. And everybody in there is wilding out. And the next thing you know, you wilding out. Everybody got a bunch of misinformation. Everybody's like, what? What? Oh my God, it's the end. Oh my God, do you have any extra? And ain't nobody right, but everybody's panicking.
Oh man, it's hysterical. But
yeah, these times are wild, man.
It's wild. And you know what else is wild? The air doctor.
When you was talking about wisdom and intellect, I thought you was about to bring me up, but I get it.
I need my coffee.
Did you put the pot on?
They got the same silence that Donald Trump got when they were in space. Air doctor, aren't you?
Hey, yeah, they was in space. Wink, wink. Well, I tell you, y'all ain't seen enough AI videos. You ain't seen enough AI videos by now.
Did they tell that man they put a nigga in there?
No, he was on camera. He was on.
Why he was so freaking
like, them went together.
So we let one of them on there.
But the silence was telling. The silence was telling. It was funny.
Oh my God!
We go sell some ice cream to people in the North Pole if y'all really believe that. I guess we could go ahead and take a quick break and let Jackie go get her coffee, and then we can finish off this. Oh damn! I guess our break got to be a little longer than that.
Play a whole song. I'll be right
back. Right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Oh shit! Oh, wrong one. I totally hit the wrong button. Big up to y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got a bunch of dope hosts here. We got guest hosts coming through. You never know what you're going to tune into and get at the Remix Morning Show, but you are going to get something. Believe that. So make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and do what you got to do. And that means share. Let people know that this is the joint to be watching every weekday from 8 to 10 a.m. All right, boom. So we got a bunch of dope shows, as I talk about all the time. One of the shows with no other than Jackie Lukeman on Darker Than Blue just came on. So let's see what was going on that show and what she was talking about when it came to Venezuela and other lies imperialists are talking about. Let's get it.
I'm going to have Christian on to talk about what's going on in Venezuela because I want to know about communes. I want to talk more about the market for the fisher folk that we visited and the initiative that they have. I want to talk more about the urbanisms. I want to talk more about how Venezuela. I want to talk about those 5 million houses. 5 million housing units built and provided for the people, working class and poor people, for free. We got to talk about all of this because these are the kinds of things we want. And this is what this government doesn't want us, particularly working class and poor, African, indigenous, and other people on the bottom here. This is what they do not want us to know. So yes, I'm going to have you come back because we need to know that a better world is possible. And it's something different when somebody who lives in that world comes and talks about that world than when I tell you that it exists. So will you come back again to talk more about these things?
Will he? Aha. Make sure y'all go check out the rest of that show so you can find out exactly what all he was talking about, all Jackie was talking about, and see, will he be back? That is Darker Than Blue, so make sure y'all catch that last episode. All right, let's get back to it. I believe the ladies got their coffee, so let's get right back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's get it. Got that sugar in your coffee. You know, I started using honey, and I think that really helped with the allergy type. With allergies.
Oh,
yeah.
I like honey in coffee. I like agave nectar too, but I don't like agave nectar is if it's not locally sourced, which most of it isn't. I don't mess with it too much because I try not to contribute intentionally to the destruction of the planet.
Well, you know, the thing to say about allergies also is you're supposed to get local honey. That way the pollen around you, don't bother you. Renee, you back?
I'm back. I'm still, okay. I have not tried the honey in the coffee yet.
Oh, it's yummy.
Yeah.
I don't, but do you do cream in the coffee too? Or is it black and sweet?
Both.
And
both.
But you do regular milk though, right? No, you don't. You're vegan.
Well, some days.
What?
That was such an ear doctor answer. I don't even know. I don't.
Some days I'm pescatarian. Some days I'm vegan. Yeah, it depends on the day.
Oh, I was about to say, because are you not vegan on the days that you talk about not going to the hospital and not taking?
Man,
not
listen,
vegan on what
I done did it all: pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian. I was doing this back in the 90s, so it's been rotating. So but yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah. So, but I do look for a creamer that doesn't have a bunch of gums in it and stuff like that. That's in there. So yeah, it's a bunch of different gums.
Yeah, to make it thick, they do all kinds of weird. Yeah.
It's funny. I took my daughter to the store yesterday, and I was just like, read the labels. Like, read these labels to realize what you're putting in your body. And she was like, whatever. Smart as she is,
Don't you love when your kids do that? Like, you tell them something and they look at you like what? And I just sometimes and my child is good. So I don't even know what I would do if he was an asshole, because he's a good kid, right? Like, and sometimes I look at him like, did that just happen? Like, what is going? So yeah,
my daughter takes after me. She's definitely an asshole. But
I'm not gonna talk about y'all kids. I'm not
I mean, what's the definition of an asshole? Somebody that speaks their mind. I mean, and really doesn't even think about.
No.
That's one of the definitions.
And see, when your daughter gets to your age, she's going to be doing exactly the same thing that you're doing. She's going to remember to read the label, and she's going to be, because I am my mother. I am my mama. And I swore I would not be, but dear God, I am my mama. Just a little less intense.
Steven just asked for the word of the day. So in case you just showing up, the word of the day is let's get this on the screen. Proletariat. Workers or working class people regarded collectively, often used with reference to Marxism. Is that a good definition?
Yeah.
I'm asking y'all.
Yeah.
Because y'all help to let me know the other definition wasn't the best of what was that? Hebrewism, Huberist. Yeah, there we go.
Huberist?
Yeah, I said Hebrewism.
or also known as hubris.
Oh God.
Okay.
Don't leave, Jackie. Don't leave. This is the learning moment.
Woke me up out of my sleep for this.
Hey, I learned lumpkin. I learned curmudgeon.
You did not learn lumpkin. I am good.
Lumping.
Yeah.
Okay, I just read it right here. Lumping. Okay. So y'all keep me going, man. Y'all keep me going.
Keep pulling random letters out of the air and putting them into words.
I mean, I was gonna leave it alone because he also said he added an N at the end.
Yes.
That was
even when he read the definition and there was no N there, he put it there anyway.
I read different from y'all. We not the same.
Lord.
Anyway, so Jackie, on your last Darker Than Blue, what did you learn about Venezuela?
So I've been really disturbed by people hopping on the news coming out of Venezuela and the way it's being reported about, Delcy Rodriguez and everybody. Well, not everybody, but too many people are convinced that Delcy Rodriguez has sold out the revolution and she's betrayed. That I don't believe that's the case, but my belief doesn't matter. I wanted to hear from somebody in Venezuela who understands the situation, who's living there, what is really going on. And I learned that, listen, strategic retreat is a thing, especially when you are negotiating with a psychopath government and you're negotiating with a gun to your head. So, and we need to, I don't think I understand why. We know the U.S. media has never told the truth about these countries, never. Even when U.S. media was allegedly more objective. But now that most corporate legacy outlets literally are owned by Zionist entities, we know that they're not only lying, but they are pushing Zionist talking points. They are giving the Zionist perspective of yes, they are reporting on certain things as to make it seem like Delcy Rodriguez is playing ball with them willingly. It's not willingly. She is trying to get Maduro back, trying to get the U.S. to drop those sanctions, because the latest report was that the U.S. dropped sanctions on her only. And of course, they did that and reported it that way to make it seem like to delegitimize her. right? So all of that is a part of the information warfare that has always gone on. This is the same people who reported like it was the truth that Nicolas Maduro was a narco trafficker, that the Fisher folk who were murdered by the US were actually trafficking drugs, right? The US media reported on these things as if they were legitimate, just because this government said they were. So I'm not sure why we're believing what these people are saying, but I was seeing too many people just believing, yeah, Delcy has sold them out. And I figured, well, let me get a perspective from somebody in Venezuela who I know is politically clear and also politically very active to answer these questions. And he did. So I would check out that episode. I'm bad at marketing my own stuff, but I thought that was a really fantastic episode because that young brother is very sharp. And he'll be back. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking, I'm like, if I was an evil villain, how much of the truth would I put out in the media to the people if I'm really trying to rule them and trying to get them to believe whatever I want them to believe, control the narrative? Like, what percentage, Renee, of the truth would you put out if you was an evil villain?
I mean, you only need to put out 1%. You only need a little bit of what you say to be true for people to be completely baffled at what is going on, because because this is what media does all the time, right? They give a little bit, they give just a little bit of what's legitimate, and then you get fooled into thinking like, oh, well, they told the truth about this thing, so everything they say can't be false, and it's all intentional, right? I saw a great clip of on Instagram, somebody making fun of Rachel Maddow, which I fully support at all times. But she was breaking down something about Iran and talking about like what was going on. And she mentioned every country is problematic but Israel. Right? And so what she was saying about Saudi Arabia being run by like princes, and what she was saying about the Emirates being none of what she was saying wasn't true, but she literally left out the biggest part of the problem. And so, but that's what they do, right? Like she gave you stuff that's all true, right? But then she left out the thing that really is at the core of the problem. So then how do you deal with that as a person who may not pursue access to the full story? Like if all you watch is Rachel Maddow, you would think everything was the problem but Israel, which is crazy. Right? It's crazy, but this is what they do. So you only have to give a little bit. You really only have to give a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so why would you? I mean, shit. That's why it's hard for me to believe a lot of stuff that's coming out. And was it smart of them as an evil villain to give us social media so we can tell our own story instead of going to them? Because now, even with the algorithms, they control that. So it's like you get limited, media that's giving you the truth, like this right here, Black Liberation Media. How many people really see this, and how many people aren't able to see this due to algorithms? So,
yeah, I mean, regardless of what we do with it, their goal is to make money, and yeah, they do lots of suppression of the truth, but see, they never stop making money.
Facts.
That they never, so they're not. I think because they control the platforms, and because they know they can turn off access and limit who sees what, and they control the algorithm, what the algorithm allows and doesn't allow. They're not, they're not all that upset about the truth being conveyed on social media, because look at what they did to TikTok. That's how people learned about what was really going on in Gaza, the
Yeah.
videos that were being posted on TikTok. And what did they do? Well, they just bought it. And that began
Right.
under Biden. That Biden started that.
Yeah.
Biden started that. So this is why it's not one person, it's not one administration, it's the system. No system, no government, no economic system, no social system should allow capitalists to buy a media platform because they don't like that the media platform is populated by the people who are sharing their information and exposing truth. That
Right.
no society should exist where that is allowed to happen, where the truth is silenced by a rich guy buying the platform that the truth is conveyed through so that he can stop the truth being conveyed. That's a dictatorship, y'all.
For real. Same club, just different promoters.
Yep. And what's the because LBS talks about them all the time, the outlet that owns all the papers in Baltimore. I just blanked on.
It's not, is it Sinclair?
Yes. Is it Sinclair Media that owns all, right? And so this is not, even what happened with TikTok is not new, right? Like this consolidation is not new. This is why local papers have been getting shut down. This is why, all these things are all like built in together, because the goal is to make it so that all your news is coming from similar places. And, but I'll never forget, I mean, it's got to be like 3 or 4 years now when all the Sinclair broadcasts, remember the broadcasters were all given the same thing to read.
Yes.
About propaganda. And it was like local broadcasts in every corner of the country, literally reading the same statement about being cautious with like fake news. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then okay.
No, I'm sorry, but just this also goes back to something we talked about before, and something I think I talked about this on Darker Than Blue, the what was it, 1996 Telecommunications Act. Who was president then? Bill Clinton.
Right.
Right. So all this stuff about it's Trump. He didn't start this. So this all of this was made possible. This media consolidation was made possible by Bill Clinton
and
by the Democratic Party. and not at no point during the time that they had any power since 1996 did they ever go back and say, man, this is a problem. Let's undo this mess. Not once.
And then how I'm looking at it is like you allow a certain amount of truth out. You allow like 2% of the truth out and allow people to get on and talk about it while the whole world's not even thinking about it. And they're looking at you like, oh, you're crazy. You're just one of those people that's against everything. I'm over here worrying about who won the game last night. Who's the best rapper? Top 5. It's just so many other distractions where it's just like, let them go ahead and tell a little bit of the truth. It don't matter because ain't nobody listening to them really anyway. Too busy out here getting money.
No, but see, they know that if most people heard the truth that we have to tell, that some of those people will be convinced. And, because honestly, if you keep hearing something over and over again, whether it's the truth or a lie, it eventually does become a part of your consciousness, or at least you start thinking about it more, right? So they understand that, look, the truth has its own appeal. Sometimes it doesn't matter who is telling the truth. It has its own appeal. People are going to listen. They know that, and they don't want that to happen. That is not a risk they can take. So we need to understand that it's not so much that it is true that there are some people in this country who would never listen to folks like us because of who we are. Yes, that is absolutely true. But that is not everyone. And even if some of those people heard the truth, even from us, enough, some of those people would be like, well, let me see if what these folks are saying is true. They can't have that. They cannot have that, because that creates a situation where their base begins to question their allegiance to them. And then their base begins to say, well, wait a minute, if these folks over here that they have been saying have been my problem are really not the problem because they're the ones who told me the truth, maybe I need to start listening to them more. Maybe I need to start getting with these people more. And we got to remember the history of this country. Every time there has been solidarity between ethnic groups, between when there has been class suicide among the middle class, and they have aligned with the working class and the poor, when white workers said, wait a minute, Black workers are not our enemies, we need to get with them. Every time there has been this cross division solidarity brewing in this country, the government has destroyed it every single time. So the reason we don't get the reach that these silly white podcasters get is because the truth that we have is dangerous to the system. We need to remember. I need to remember that. They don't silence us because we're not a threat. They silence us because we are.
And that is a great segue to let y'all know that's why y'all should continue to support Black Liberation Media. You should let other people know in your next conversation. Just bring it up. You know what I watched the other day? I was watching the Remix Morning Show on Black Liberation Media and blah, 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 blah. So that's why we need y'all out there. We need y'all to continue to be that shining light for us and let other people know so we can make sure the truth is getting up out of there. With that said, Renee Johnston, what you got coming up this week?
So
on Renee Johnston Saturday.
So I'm gonna keep doing it to people because, like I said yesterday, it's too hard. It's too much to try and explain how this all happened. So they'll see it on Saturday. We have a guest come in. We do have to pre-record, but I can't explain why it's happening, and so I'm gonna wait, and then people can see it on Saturday. But there'll be a show on Saturday. I will tell people though, I discovered, because I started doing my plotting and planning, that the 150th Saturdays with Renee is on the same day as my 50th birthday.
What? Turn up.
Talk about right.
Welcome to the club, Renee. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to do a live, I think. We're gonna have to do a live. So
nice.
So we're gonna do some stuff. Might as well, That was an absolutely unplanned coincidence.
Serendipitous.
Yes, serendipitous. So we're gonna just enjoy it, I think is gonna be the plan. But that's all we got.
All right, good. When you turning 50, you got a new bedtime now. So prepare. Jackie, what you got coming up on Darker Than Blue?
I don't know. I never know on Wednesday. I put a bunch of feelers out and I'm seeing what's going on. And then if something happens, then I change things. So yeah, something has happened. So the show may change. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, you will know more about tomorrow when you come back on the Remix Morning Show at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's going to be a dope show. We also going to have a special guest coming at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Definitely want to be there for that. And you can catch me and Kim Brown doing Classical Breakdown, Luther Vandross at 11 a.m. So y'all can say, pretty little.
What?
Darling, have a heart. Pretty little, darling. Pretty little, darling, have a heart.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I
I'm
always
sorry.
thought he was speaking French at first. He was like petit little. I didn't know he was
That's
saying
why. That's why. Because of the
petit
way you said
little.
it.
Like how he said, I was like, what the hell kind of language is that? But then I was like, oh, he's saying pretty little darling have a heart. Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
So make sure y'all come
Oh.
through and y'all will learn all the lyrics and everything as me and Kim Brown try to
Yeah.
sing it.
I'm going back to bed. Yeah.
Big up to
That was
RKM
too much.
6863 becoming a new YouTube member. All right.
Yay,
Well, that's
welcome.
what it is. Another Remix Morning Show. Y'all go out there and do your best, organize so we can rise. And we'll check y'all out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Peace out, y'all. That is Jackie Luke, man. Renee Johnson. I'm the Ear Doctor. We out. Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.